The virtual scope sheet is a very powerful tool within the Simsol software. It's where you'll spend the majority of your time adding repair items to your estimate rooms and areas. Because you'll spend so much time there, we've made it as easy to work with as possible and as intuitive as possible as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at the virtual scope sheet. To look at the virtual scope sheet, we need to get into a claim file, which I'll go ahead and do here by double clicking on this claim file I've got listed. Now once I get into the claim, I want to go to the building estimate section, but more specifically I want to go to the scope of damage screen. The scope of damage screen within my building estimate is where I'll find all of the areas I've created for this particular estimate. The scope of damage screen is also where I can create other types of areas for this estimate as well. You'll see across the top I've got area, roof, elevation, and group. Now for this particular estimate, I've got 3 areas created. I've got a bedroom 1, a laundry room, and a general items room. So to get to the virtual scope sheet, I need to pick a room and go ahead and double click it. In fact, I can double click it or just highlight it and hit scope on the top here. But for this demonstration, I'll just double click on the bedroom 1. And that brings up the virtual scope sheet. Now if I go up to the top left of the virtual scope sheet in the header, you'll see at the top virtual scope sheet -bedroom 1. And basically that's telling me I'm currently in bedroom 1 right now, and any repairs that I add at this time will be added to this bedroom for the estimate. And as we look at the layout of the virtual scope sheet, it's comprised of 5 different areas. Starting at the top, we have your menu bar and speed buttons. Each of these speed buttons contains a different function, and we'll take a look at some of those as we progress through this video. Over to the left side are all of the repair item categories. Every single repair found in the database can be found in this category section on the left. To locate a repair item category, I can scroll up and down this list, and when I find a category that I believe contains the repair item I'm looking for, I just simply click on that category, and you'll see it displays all the repair items in that category in the center grid of the virtual scope sheet. So that's one way to search for repairs. The other way is I can come up to the top here of this left column and just simply type in the actual repair item that I'm looking for. So moving to the center of the virtual scope sheet, like I said just a moment ago, this is where all the actual repairs are displayed. As I click on a category to the left, this center section displays all the repairs for each category. And not only does it show the actual repairs, it provides me with a list of numbers here that I'll use in just a moment to add the actual repair to my estimate. So next we'll move over to the right side of the screen, and there's a drop-down list at the top here. This drop-down provides me with a few different visual options on the right side of the screen. If you're just starting out with Simsol, we recommend that you select the second option down called Scopes. The reason for that is this will serve as a legend for you as to what these numbers in the center screen represent, and it'll help you get started with adding repairs to your actual estimate. Down at the bottom of the virtual scope sheet is what's called the MiniOverride Screen. It displays the details of the last repair item that you added to the estimate. It contains such items as quantity, unit of measure, the item description, the item price, the item unit price, depreciation percentages, and repair item specifications. So now that we've quickly gone over the layout of the virtual scope sheet, let's get down to the business of actually adding a couple repairs to this bedroom 1. One of the repairs I want to make to this room will be drywall. So the first thing I'll do is come over to the left, locate wall items in the categories section, and upon clicking on wall items, I see all the different wall repair items listed in the center. As I go down the list, I find that the third and fourth items listed are wall drywall taped and floated, and wall drywall with orange peel finish. So that being said, there's one thing that's important to know about the virtual scope sheet in terms of these categories. You'll notice to the right of each of these drywall repairs, there's a column here with arrows that go up and arrows that go down. An arrow that goes down means that there is a second level of repair items related to wall drywall taped and floated that'll show me repair items that are more specific for that type of repair. So if I click on the down arrow next to Wall, Drywall, Taped, and Floated, I go to level 2, and I'm presented with different types of drywall: residential, unfinished residential drywall, texture on drywall, commercial type, and then different components for that drywall as well. Any items that have an additional down arrow means there's an actual level 3, which means that those repairs will be even more specific. So if I pick residential and go to level 3, you'll see now I'm presented with a bunch of different sizes of residential drywall. So you can see that one of the things Virtual Scope Sheet does, it allows you to select a general description of a repair, or you can be very specific as well, depending on what you know about that repair. So for this example, I'm going to stick to level 1 for now, which means I'll just go back over to the left and click on Wall Items, and that brings me back to the level 1 of wall item repairs. So as I look at this item, Wall, Drywall, Taped, and Floated, I notice to the right there is this row of numbers, starting with 1 all the way to 0. And you'll notice this legend that we referred to earlier has those same numbers listed here, and next to each number is a description. And what these describe is the function of each of these numbers. You'll see number 1 is remove, number 2 is replace, 3 remove and replace, 4 is repair, 5 remove and reinstall, 6 clean, 7 paint and finish, 8 minimum charge, and 9 select item. So all that means basically is if I'm ready to add this drywall repair to this room and I know the function that I want to describe in my estimate, I'll just simply go to the number associated with that repair and click on the corresponding number. So for this drywall, we're going to remove it and we're going to replace it. By clicking on those numbers, I've now added those repairs to my estimate. If I look down at the bottom at the MiniOverride screen, you'll see that Replace Wall, Drywall, Taped, and Floated is being presented as the last item I added to my estimate. Now to verify all the items that I have in the estimate thus far, if I go up to the top left of the Virtual Scope Sheet and click on this List button at the top, it'll present me with a list of every repair that's been added to the estimate thus far, and you'll see the one that's highlighted, Replace Wall, Drywall, Taped, and Floated. If I'd like to take a closer look at this particular repair, I can simply double-click it from the list mode, and that'll bring up the Line Item Override screen. It shows me all the details of this repair that I can adjust and tweak however I deem necessary at this point. I can even change the description or add user notes to this repair that will appear on the estimate. When I'm done with the override screen, I just simply click Done. And if I'm ready to add more repairs to this estimate, I just come up to the top left, and instead of List, which is the mode I'm currently in, I'll click back on VSS to bring me back to the Virtual Scope Sheet. So that's how you add repairs to an estimate. If I clicked on one of these repairs by mistake, to remove it from the estimate, it's as simple as clicking on those buttons that are now enabled for those repairs. So by clicking on the 1 and 2, which are the remove and the replace for that drywall, I've now removed it from the estimate altogether. So let's go ahead and add a type of wallpaper to this room. And this time we'll get a little bit more specific. So instead of selecting from level 1, we'll see what levels are provided for the wallpaper. So I'm still in the wall items category. I find wallpaper just down below. I see there's a level 2 available. I'll click on the down arrow. And right away under wallpaper, I'm presented with different grades of wallpaper, even a mural type. And I can also add it by the single roll, and there's a bunch of different types here that I can select based on that specification. So for this estimate, we'll say that this room had a premium grade wallpaper. Let's go ahead and make our selection. So I come down to premium grade, I refer to my legend on the right, and instead of doing a remove and replace separately, I also have the option of using one scope, which is remove and replace, number 3. So I can simply come over to premium grade, select scope 3, and just like that, I've added remove and replace premium grade wallpaper to my estimate. That's how simple it is to add repairs to your estimates in Simsol. And it's all brought to you by this Virtual Scope Sheet, a very simple design for adding many repairs to an estimate quickly and easily. Once I'm done with the Virtual Scope Sheet, I just simply come up to the top, click Done, and I'm returned back to my scope of damage screen for the building estimate with the same room highlighted that I was just working in. Over to the right, I can review the changes that have been made to that area by looking at the highlighted area totals. And I also get a glimpse of how that affected my overall estimate totals as well.